What's up guys, Chase here with On the Trail Reviews. Today we are going to be doing a waterproofing test with 3 different tents. This tent right here, first up, is the Ozark Trail Walmart tent. Next we have the River Country product Trekker 2. This is the first tent in their series. And then we also have the Arctic Monsoon backpacking tent. We look forward to seeing which one is the most waterproof today.
All right, so the way this test is gonna work, Chase is gonna climb in each one of these tents, starting off with the Ozark Trail tent. He's gonna shut the door, lock himself in there. We have the beautiful Emily on the water hose today. She's gonna be simulating our rainstorm, my lovely wife, and we will be timing how long it takes on the G-Shock for the water to start seeping in. So in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Looking pretty wet already. How you doing in there, Chase? Still dry?
Still dry. There is a light mist coming through the mesh at the very top.
Okay, so Chase just told us he's still mostly dry, but there is a little bit coming in through the mesh. If you see on that rain fly, there's a little bit of a gap, and I guess it's coming in just a little bit there.
Dripping at the door.
All right, so we are just over 2 minutes in, and Chase is starting to get some dripping in the tent. Where did you say it was dripping?
Right at the door.
Okay, so right at the door, we're starting to get some leaks. How severe is that leak, Chase? Just a little bit?
Well, now I'm up to 2 leaks. It's at the bottom of the window in the door.
Okay, he's got 2 leaks now. Bottom of the window at the door is also leaking.
Right in this area.
Okay, yes, we can see. All right, so Chase just updated us again. We are just under 4 minutes in. We now have a leak at the window, a leak at the door, and the bottom corner. The seams are starting to leak, including the mist coming in under our rain fly. So multiple leaks here, 4 minutes in on the Ozark Trail tent. Another update, now 4 minutes and 20 seconds in, the back corners have started to leak as well.
Like leak through the actual tent.
Okay, so Chase is saying the tent walls are starting to bleed through with water now. And keep in mind, this is a light shower we're putting on it, but we are just at that 5-minute mark. So let's go ahead and turn it up, Emily. Let's change the sprinkle to a rainstorm.
The door is leaking really bad.
Okay, so Chase is yelling from inside the tent that it is leaking extremely bad now. My wife is having a lot of fun with this.
Oh, it stopped raining.
All right, so just over 6 minutes in, and let's see what we have.
I'm fucking laying in water. Got water all down there.
All right.
Water was coming in from these corners.
Yeah.
And then it was misting through the actual mesh where it was getting up under that rain fly.
Okay, right. So overall, not too terrible, but definitely have some water seepage in here coming through, and this is wet feeling on the inside. So about 6 minutes of our simulated rainstorm in the Ozark Trail tent has just miserably failed. All right, next will be the River Country Products tent. Chase has a lot of faith in this tent, so let's see how it stands up, starting the stopwatch in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So immediately it looks like this tent, the water is actually beating up slightly different than it did on the Ozark Trail tent, and it is just running off very fast like a river. You can see how that water's beating up. That might have to do with the age of the tent as well. This Ozark Trail tent is quite a few years old, and this River Country Products is fairly new. All right, so just over 4 minutes in, still pelting this tent with our simulated rainstorm. Chase just reported, said still no leaks anywhere in the tent. We've been walking around, hitting all the sides, hitting the front, hitting this from all different angles. 4.5 minutes in now, still no leaks. All right, almost at 6 minutes now, Chase is reporting that it's still no leaks. We're hitting it really hard. If you ever camp in a rainstorm like this, that's some bad news. But if you're in this tent, it looks like you might hold up okay. All right, we are targeting the door, hitting it full blast. Any leaks, Chase? Chase can't even hear us. It's probably extremely loud in that tent.
Hey, we're still doing good!
There he goes. He says we're still doing good, no leaks, and we are 7 minutes in. All right, we are pelting the seams. We are pelting that seam now from almost point blank, full blast with the jet on the water hose. Chase just said, all right, he sounds funny in there. All right, he says we are getting a little water now that we're firing almost point blank into that seam.
A little mist hitting the bottom. I think it's hitting the bottom of the door that overlaps and coming through the mesh.
Okay, yeah, so it's hitting right here and just coming through on the mesh. All right. So that's not necessarily because the material is failing. That's just because the jet is so hard right there. It's just coming under this flap. All right, we'll keep hitting it, see how long we can go. All right, so we are just about to hit that 10-minute mark in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and that's time. All right.
And just like that, the rain quit.
All right, Chase, come on out of there. Tell us how that rainstorm was in the River Country Products tent.
I am super impressed with the River Country Products tent. I had absolutely no leakage. The only problem that I had was at the bottom of the bathtub feature itself, right in here. If water's hitting, it will come through the mesh because it does not seal at the bottom of the actual fully enclosure doors. Only thing that zips up at the bottom is your mesh doors. However, I don't think that would be an actual problem as bad as what we're simulated here today. But I am super impressed, and I would strongly recommend this tent to take on the trail.
All right, so now Chase is climbing in the Arctic Monsoon. This tent is designed specifically for backpackers. Not much more room than a coffin in here, just enough to lay down. I've used this tent on quite a few hikes. I'm very interested to see how it survives our storm test. All right, starting the timer in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
So far, so good.
All right, so we are just shy of 2 minutes. Chase just gave us a so far so good. One thing I'm noticing immediately, this tent just isn't quite shedding water as fast as this tent over here, just partially because of the design. These little tabs you see right here, you can actually string a ridge line to make the tent pitch just a little bit steeper to help shed water. We did not do that, however, so we're seeing how it'll stack up. But you can see some pooling like right here, and that pooling is bad news for these tents when that water just sits heavy on that material. One other thing I'm noticing, since we're hitting with this spray sideways like this, the rain fly comes down, and if you look, there's a small gap where the tent meets that rain fly, and that gap doesn't touch the ground, so it's a few inches there with that sideways rain. Or if you're camping on a slight slope, if water wouldn't wash down in under that slope. But Chase is still giving us the so far so good, and we're over 3 minutes, so might not be anything too serious there. All right, so we are 4.5 minutes in. Chase still saying no leaks. A few more seconds, we're gonna turn it up. We're gonna turn the jet on and see how the Arctic Monsoon fares. All right, it has survived 5 minutes with no leaks, so we're now hitting it with the jet, just pelting this tent with water. Gonna see how it stands up. All right, 7 minutes in, we were just attacking these seams right here with that jet, trying to find any vulnerable points in this tent to hit. Still no leaks though, and just over 7 minutes in.
I think your door is leaking!
Oh, never mind. It looks like we might have a leak at the door is what Chase just called out.
Oh, that's my butt.
So after pelting this seam with that jet, we did get a leak. Chase said there's a small leak at the door, and we are 8 minutes in. So you can see the structural integrity of the tent is starting to fail. That's partially because we didn't do so good staking it out. And all that pressure right on the middle of the tent is causing it to kind of sag in just a little bit where she's hitting it hard with the water hose. And we just hit that 10-minute mark, so you can turn off that water hose. Go ahead, climb out of there, Chase. All right, so Chase is saying there's a little bit of a leak right here. And you can see some water. And that might just be where we were pelting that seam right there. So how do you think it did? What was your impression being in there during that fierce rainstorm we just put it through?
Absolutely have no problem with it at all. I think this tent will definitely hold up in a rainstorm on the trail. It is a compact tent, so if you're not used to being in a small area, then this may not be the tent for you. But for backpackers, this is the tent that you want to carry on the trail. And like I said, it is waterproof, so I would give it 2 thumbs up.
All right, Chase, so you weathered out a simulated rainstorm in 3 different tents: the Walmart tent, the Arctic Monsoon, and the River Country Outdoors Products tent. How did the Walmart tent stack up against 2 reputable outdoor tent companies?
The Walmart tent did not stand up at all, honestly. You know, for a $20 tent, it probably did about as you would expect. You hear a lot, you get what you pay for, and honestly, it really showed in this test. It leaked. There was multiple leaks within 5 minutes, and we didn't even get to do a real hard pressure test on it because of the leaks. So versus the reputable tents, I would not take it anywhere.
Right. So it's, in your opinion, it's totally worth the extra money to just buy a good backpacking tent if you plan on hiking.
Yeah, I mean, so compared to the other tents, that was only $30 cheaper than the River Country tent, and only about $50 cheaper than, 50 to 60 cheaper than the Arctic Monsoon. So really it's becoming a safety issue if you're in that tent. You know, and I really want you to be out safe when you're hiking. And you've got to think, if you're out hiking in December, January, February, and it comes a rainstorm or a snowstorm or anything, and it starts leaking, and you're 25 miles from your vehicle or 20 miles from the next road crossing, you really don't want to be in that tent. So not that I just think you should spend money on better tents or better products, but really I want you to be safe out there, and I don't think that tent's safe to be in during a rain or snowstorm.
Right, and you've experienced that just a little bit with a tent that gave false claims. That's part of the reason why we wanted to start this company, was because a tent promised to keep you warm and dry. And I remember I was just across maybe 10 feet away from you. I was warm and cozy, and your sleeping bag was just drenched, and it got down into the 20s that night.
Yeah, that was an Amazon tent. Unfortunately, I don't know the name of it right now, but it was the worst tent I've ever bought. I will probably never buy anything on Amazon again because of that product. But yes, it's a safety issue. So make sure you're vetting your products before you purchase them, because it is a big deal to be out there. And I'm glad that, you know, we were able to simulate this test so you could kind of see what it would be like if you were in that tent.
Awesome. Sweet. So Walmart tents.
Don't buy. Just go a little extra.